The divine feminine understands that God is leading her. She's surrendered. She's surrendered. She doesn't have to think about it. She doesn't have to convince herself. She is fully trusting and fully surrendered in the fact that Spirit is guiding her. Period. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This video is going to be about what is the divine feminine. Like, what is she? Obviously I have a channel about femininity. I love talking about feminine energy, so I'm really excited to do this video. I didn't write any notes or anything. I want to channel directly from Spirit and allow for whatever needs to come out to flow. Hopefully no one gets offended, because in our modern Western society, our women are, majority of them are very masculinized. So some things that, that the divine feminine is about, Western women tend to get triggered. So, like, let's just keep an open mind. Everything I say is always with love. If you guys are interested in this topic, then please stay tuned. Okay, let's just get in it. Like, let's just get into it, okay? The first thing that I would like to say is the divine feminine is an embodiment, okay? The divine feminine is a way of being, while the divine masculine is what you do, it's the external, it's your output, and the feminine is the input. So everything that I describe in this video is going to be the best way that I can articulate and intellectualize the divine feminine, because she's an embodiment, okay? So you don't see her, you feel her, okay? You don't see what she does, you experience her energy. So I'm going to try to articulate the best way I can, and hopefully we could just do what we got to do in this video, okay? Okay. So again, the divine feminine is an energy. She's an embodiment. So the first thing that I would love to expand on is the fact that when you are in alignment with your divine feminine, you are in alignment with the idea of input, nourishment, filling yourself up, okay? Like I said before, in our modern day, what are we conditioned to do? Work, hustle, grind, make money. And even if it's out of the idea of like career, typically you see women heavily giving to their children, heavily giving to their husbands or their boyfriends. You typically see women in the energy of giver, right? And a lot of our women today are very overworked and burned out because of this. And that is the complete opposite of the divine feminine, okay? Ooh, it's getting hot. When it comes to the divine feminine, you want to focus on your nourishment, okay? And the divine feminine is an expression of a variety of energies. These energies consist of love, which is your heart chakra, sex and sensuality, which is your sacral, compassion. She consists of receiving, so she's nourished and taken care of. She consists of unity and connection, so she's able to expand her heart space in a way that makes people feel welcome and seen and invited. It's not coming from a space of, again, people pleasing or anything like that. It's just that you feel attracted to her energy. You feel magnetized to her energy because her heart space is open. Okay. Okay, so let's make a comparison to Mother Nature, right? This Mother Nature is one of the best examples you can see as an experience of the divine feminine, because she's not consistent, right? She's not controllable, right? she's not one way. You know, she has different, and it's similar to our menstrual cycles, it's similar to the moon cycles. All of that is connected. The idea of going with the flow of the energy of your body is the divine feminine. So let's say, you know, you're on your time of the month for your cycle. That will be the time typically when you feel like you want to be inward by yourself. You know, you want to kind of relax, you want to take the time to experience your body shedding, right? That you make time for that as the divine feminine, and then you move into feeling more extroverted, and you know how you go through the different waves and energies and emotions. The divine feminine makes space for that. On the contrary, you will see the divine masculine going headstrong to complete the task no matter what comes, no matter what happens. So that's the difference. So you see how in corporate America, typically, like, women aren't given time off for their cycles. They're expected to work no matter how they're feeling, no matter what's going on. That is a very masculine approach to a woman's experience, because for the divine feminine, she makes space for how she feels. She makes space for her emotions. She's in tune with her emotions, and she provides herself with the self-care that she needs for how she feels. Okay? And you know, we're so disconnected from this concept in today's society. Like, we've been numbed out. Our emotions are numbed. We've been taught to just grind it out no matter what. You know, now, and like being an entrepreneur, you're taught that a lot of the times, you know, wake up at 5 a.m. And I always hear the idea like, oh, entrepreneurs don't get much sleep. Like, it's just this hustle grind society. It's super uber masculine, like super masculine. And the divine feminine, she doesn't operate like that. She does not. She makes space for herself. Like, the divine feminine, to herself, she comes first. She's her greatest asset. Her energy is her moneymaker. She is the most important person in her life. And I know that's very triggering, especially to some women that have children and stuff like that. And I hold space for you, and I don't mean to judge or come off as being judgmental or anything like that, but that's the honest truth. The divine feminine understands that if she's not at 100%, she's no good to anyone else. The divine feminine understands that she should only give from her overflow. She shouldn't give from 50%. Like, let's say, for example, you're like a hustle grind career woman, or you're like an over giving people pleaser woman, right? And you're typically used to operating at like between 40 to 60%. Right? So that's like your typical go. Sometimes you get your coffee in, sometimes you could get that extra 2 hours of sleep. Whatever the thing is, that's your variable for the day. You're between 40 and 60% of operation. Now, mind you, let's say you're working, let's say you have a child or two, let's say you have a boyfriend or a husband, let's say you have on top of that, you have certain hobbies you would like to do. You have a workout routine you would like to start, right? How are you doing all of that from 40 to 60%? Like, how? Like, how are you possibly operating all of those variables from 40 to 60%? So, you know, I always think, my motto is always like, well, I am not able to give to you if I'm not in my overflow, because if I'm at even 100%, when I give to you, I'm going to be down to 80. If I'm at 75% and I give to you, now I'm down to 65%. Do you see what I'm saying? And the divine feminine understands that that's unacceptable for her. Like, that's a non-negotiable, because if I put myself below that 100% gauge of my cup being filled, my emotions being high, my mentality being in alignment, my spirit being aligned with myself, like all of that, then I now put myself in the deficit, and I now put myself in the possibility of being cranky, coming off as rude to people. Now I'm probably emotionally eating to fulfill myself. Now I'm probably acting out of alignment in certain ways. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's just the understanding that you are your number one priority above any and everyone else. It does not matter. It doesn't matter the who, what, when, where, how. You are your number one. And you have to make sure that you are giving from your overflow, non-negotiably. Like, it does not matter. So that's why the divine feminine is connected to not rationality, but her intuition and that internal instinct. Because rationally, right, if you think from your mind, you're like, oh, well, I have to get this and this done, and I have to take the kids to school, and I have to do this and this. Like, I don't have time, right? The divine feminine understands that time is an illusion. The divine feminine understands that time is not a set variable. And when you connect to the flow and the flux of the internal realm, you can slow time down. Now I'm getting ahead of myself. Another concept for the divine feminine is heavily. This is probably the number one. I should have said this first. Is that she is one with the spiritual realm. She is one. We are one. Okay? What that means, first and foremost, is that she is in alignment with the Creator. I'm not here to tell anyone who creator you should believe in. I'm not here to do that. Living as a divine feminine is a very intentional thing. Okay? You have to be extremely intentional with your life and everything about your life, literally, in order to be in alignment with the divine feminine. Why is that? One of the reasons is because she's in alignment with God. I know many of us has probably experienced this, being in survival mode. Even like, say you're in college or something, like you've experienced this in college. Like, a lot of the times we're just in go. We're making decisions from the mental space. We're just doing things without thinking. We're talking without thinking. When you have anxiety and stuff, you're talking extremely fast. Like, all of that stuff, that's not in alignment with God. It's not in alignment with spirit. And what I mean by that is that the divine feminine understands that God is leading her. She's surrendered. She doesn't have to think about it. She doesn't have to convince herself. She is fully trusting and fully surrendered in the fact that spirit is guiding her. Period. Like, period. Even if you're in that in-between stage of like entering the divine, like entering the flow, but you're still in your masculine a little bit, trying to get out of it, you have to create a habit of aligning yourself with trust in God, period. And it took a while for me to do this, only because, not because I didn't trust God, but because I kept reverting back to my masculine energy. So I would go through these moments of like trusting God and being in flow and listening to my heart, but then I would end up stressing over something, or something would come up and I would just immediately start stressing and trying to solve it from my masculine space. Like, it was just like this. And back in 2020, I remember I literally had like this very emotional moment for myself, and I just remember crying so hard. And I was literally in prayer asking God to please help me surrender. Please help me surrender. Please help me to surrender to you, and please help me to give my full trust in you. And what that looks like for me is making decisions that feel like bliss and they feel like God in my heart, but they may not make the most sense to me, right? And it's just that divine trust, knowing that there's things that are capable of happening that I can't see. There's things that are capable of being created that I can't even think of yet. Again, complete trust in the fact that there's an energy that created me, right? I didn't just pop on the scene. Like, something created me intentionally. And I have trust in the fact that there is no such thing as a coincidence and everything happens for a reason. I have trust in the fact that just the way that all the birds have something to eat and the sun comes up every day and I always wake up with air to breathe, I will always have God to trust. Period. And with that understanding, the divine feminine is allowing herself to connect to the spiritual realm, which is that's her domain. She's allowing herself to follow her heart, which is her thing. And she's allowing herself to be able to begin to relax her nervous system and to rest. Because being anxious and stressing and grimo and all of that stuff, that's just super masculine. It's not feminine energy. Now, let me say this really quick because, each person has both masculine and feminine energy. So I have both masculine and feminine energy. What I've realized on my journey, being in my masculine up until like 2018-ish, I started to kind of move in a direction, kind of. What I began to realize was that my masculine was burning me out. It was burning me out. I wanted to relax. It was doing too much. Like, I couldn't do it. So now that I've entered my feminine and I started to realize like my feminine is my dominant. You may be a woman that has a masculine dominant energy. There's nothing wrong with that. But for me, once I stepped into my feminine, I said, oh, this is for me. Like this is how I should have been my entire life. My masculine is here for certain things, but not for everything. I give it a good 80-20. 80% in my feminine, 20% for when I need it. And that's another video. We could talk about that another time. But okay. I said how the divine feminine is connected to the spiritual realm. While it has a lot to do with connecting to God and allowing spirit to lead you, it also has a lot to do with connecting to your spiritual abilities, and it has a lot to do with creating from the spiritual realm. The divine feminine understands that her frequency attracts into her life what she is. That's just how this whole experience works in life. We are what we attract, and we attract what we are. The divine feminine understands that there's no one to blame because she is what her environment is. It's just the reality of it. That's how this works. So, okay. So, she understands that in order for her to have the life that she desires, she has to change who she is. This is a very huge concept because, again, it's creating from the spiritual realm. It's creating from the internal. It's creating from the unseen to the seen. It's turning energy into matter instead of matter into matter. So the masculine energy turns matter into matter. Masculine energy says, I'm at this job, I don't like this job, and I'm going to grind it out so I could stack some money up. Maybe I'll get 2 jobs and I'll have a hustle on the side, and I'm going to stack some money up so I could save up to do this other thing that I want. That's masculine energy. Okay? Feminine energy says, oh my gosh, I'm at this job, I can't stand it. Like, I don't even know why I'm doing this. Okay? And I have this desire in my heart to do this thing. Whatever the thing is for you, your heart is like, sis, we want to do this. She then says, okay, who do I have to be in order to have that thing? That's 2 different mindsets, okay? So the masculine turns matter into matter. He takes something, he grinds it out step by step to get to a certain place. Divine feminine says, well, hold on. I'm not even doing all of that. Like, I'm not step by step in it. Like, that's too much. Let's just quantum leap. Let's just let God do what God does, right? Let's let God take care of what God can see. I can't see it. All I know is I have this desire. I know because I've been doing my inner work that my desire is connected to the Most High. So it's really for me. Who do I have to be to have it? How do I attract this into my life? right? Because again, the divine feminine doesn't operate from logic. So it's logical to the masculine to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But to the feminine, she knows she gets to have what she wants, and she knows that the law of attraction is a real life thing. Okay, align her frequency with the thing that she desires, and she gets to have it. Okay. So this is where inner work comes into play. So inner work is the divine feminine's playground. This is her playground. She loves inner work. Why does she love inner work? She loves inner work because not only does she get to change her identity to who she desires to be, but she understands that for each identity comes different experiences. For each identity comes different types of relationships, different friends, right? For each identity comes different quantities of money, right? That's just how this works. Your identity is equivalent to your experience in life. So the divine feminine, for her to quantum leap, for her to take part in the law of attraction, she understands that she has to become what she wants. Who do I have? Just if you remember anything, anything from this video at all, remember this phrase. Who do I have to be to get where I want to be? Who do I have to be to have what I desire? Not what do I have to do, not where do I have to go, not who do I have to ask. Who do I have to be? That's it. Figure it out and do the thing. Figure that out and become her. Okay? It's an identity shift. The divine feminine is huge on identity shifts. That's how she attracts what she desires. Okay? If you desire to attract more money in your life, right? Who do I have to be to have more money in my life? You have to work on your belief system. Who do I have to be? When you say who do I have to be, that means how do I have to think? What do I have to eat? What do I have to wear? How do I have to speak? What do my chakras have to feel like? Like you literally have to go within. The divine feminine is input. She is internal. She is the energy. She is the receiver. She is internal. Okay? So you have to ask yourself, who do I have to be? From top to bottom. Your emotions. How do you handle your emotions? Your mentality. This is your belief system. What are the thoughts that you think? What are your limiting beliefs? What are they? Do they suit you? Work on them. I'm just being like really real with y'all in this one. Like, work on them. Okay, your eating habits for multiple reasons, like not just because of the physical aspect, like you will look better, you will be healthier, but because our foods are also vibration. What you put into your body is also vibration, and it can either damage or heighten your frequency. I've learned this from personal experience. Some foods just don't work for me, right? And I was very stubborn in letting them go too. But the divine feminine is the healer. She's the healer to herself, to her community, to the people she experienced. She's the healer. Now, this doesn't mean give people your unsolicited opinions and advice. This doesn't mean go on the internet and tell people how they're overweight and what they should eat and what supplements they should. No, it's not about that. What I mean is that since she pours into herself, since her whole life is about working on herself, her energy is that of a healer. Yes, she may have information to help people with. Yes, she may be able to make a herbal concoction that can cure the worst flu. Yes, she may be able to do these things. But what I mean by healer is that she's pouring into her all of that information, all of the things she's learning. She's working on herself. Now she's eating how her body desires her temple, what her temple needs, she's pouring into it. So now her energy, her aura is now clear. Her aura is now cleansed. She is a healer. Her energy is that of a healer. When you're in her presence, you feel this attraction that you cannot explain. That is how the divine feminine works. Okay? The divine feminine comes in different flavors. So for me personally, my flavors of the divine feminine are heavily connected to. I need some more lip gloss. Oh my god. Oh my god. Was that there the whole time? Girl, and it's gonna be there the whole time. So for me, my personal divine feminine energy set is connected mostly to dark energy, doing spiritual shadow work, and seduction and like sensual energy. It comes off of my aura because some divine feminines have like more of a bubbly personality, right? Some of them are more like, oh hi, like da 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 da. But my energy is very dark, and it just is like it always has been. And I actually used to think something was like kind of wrong with that before, but I just learned that that's just who I am. There's different flavors of the divine feminine, so you have to connect to your flavor and cleanse for your flavor. And while we have multiple flavors, we have multiple assets of the divine feminine, connect to who you are, is what I'm saying. If you are more of a sensual person, maybe that's something you're supposed to put into a passion of yours, connect to it. If you're more of a bubbly extrovert, like social butterfly, connect to it, right? We all have different flavors. We're not meant to be the same woman walking around, right? So connect to your flavors as the divine feminine. Connect to what you have going on your divine feminine journey. You should learn how to listen to your body and listen to what your body needs and wants, and how to take care of her. The divine feminine is about herself. She's very selfish, and we've used this word selfish in a negative way, but it's not. You have to fill your cup first. So she's just all about, what do I have going on? What do I need to enhance to be the best version of myself? Who do I have to be to get where I want to go? Like me, 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 me. She's very obsessed with herself. She's very like, she needs to make sure her mind is right, her limiting beliefs are in check, the things that she may catch herself saying about herself, the negative talk she may have about herself, she catches it, she checks it. Her emotions are able to fluidly move throughout her body. She expresses them, she releases them as need be. She doesn't hold them in and close her chakras. Her appearance, I also believe, is very important for a divine feminine. You need to show up how you want to be treated. I don't agree with anything other than that. I'm not here to judge anyone, but I believe in my heart that as a divine feminine, you need to show up how you want to be treated. Period. At the end of the day, we live in a 3D realm, okay? And that just is what it is. She's doing her meditations. She's connecting to the spiritual realm. She's in prayer. She's talking to the Most High. She's setting boundaries for herself. Me. The reason why I'm able to show up on these videos is because I'm taking care of myself. If I was overworked, burned out, emotionally blocked, all that type of stuff, I would not be here making this video right now, right? So that's basically to say, when you step into your divine feminine, you begin to step into not just your passion, but your pathway. Because when you're in your masculine, again, you're trying to do things logically. So a lot of the times, logically, you're just trying to see what makes you good money. You're just trying to see what takes care of yourself. You're just trying to get things done. But from the divine feminine, from the heart space, you're allowing yourself to do what you're in alignment to do. It may not even make the most sense. It may not, but it's what you're called to do. And then that's when you tap into your abundance and your truest self. So I am like thirsty. But hopefully that has helped, again, articulate something that is not material. The masculine governs the material realm, the feminine governs the spiritual realm. So I'm trying to articulate something that is not even tangible. Guidance and love. That's all I'm hearing is guidance and love. Allowing God to guide you and allowing your heart to guide you. Yes, okay. So the divine wants me to tell you guys before I close out on this video, God wants me to tell you, it's very important when you're in your divine feminine essence and when you're on the journey to connecting to her, that you allow for your heart space to stay open. That's very, very, very important, because we tend to go through certain experiences and traumas and things that make us want to close our heart chakras up. But the divine feminine is all about an open heart, even when people do her wrong, even when it's stuff that she doesn't understand, even like, you know, it's all about leaving your heart open. When you walk away from someone and you leave someone and you know, you let them leave your life, you let them leave with love. You let them leave with love. You know, so it's just about, it's not about leaving your heart open to the point of your detriment. No, it's just about when whatever you choose to do, whatever you're guided to do it with love. If you're guided to break up with someone, break up with them with love. Hopefully this video was helpful to you guys. I love you guys so much. I thank you so much to all my new subscribers that have just been coming to my channel. That's so exciting. And I hope to see you guys in my next video. Bye.